Hello everyone, this is a quick public service announcement for people who are listening to the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify or iTunes. You may experience a lot of microphone popping in this episode. This is due to the fact that we did not have any windscreens while recording this first episode of the podcast. This will be rectified in other episodes, so for now, sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of this one.
Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of the Coffee Club podcast. I am your host, Einaba Television, and I'm here with my good friend Faf9.
Hello, I'm here.
How are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. This is a bit different. I have owned a few podcasts in my time, but
I've never done a podcast myself.
The thing with podcasts is that they usually go for about 3 episodes and then they
die.
They never see the light of day again. But basically, for the new listeners, well, everyone's a new listener technically, but what we're doing here is basically we are just going to be discussing films every single week. We don't want to talk about any of that YouTube stuff because we do that too much on our channel.
Way too much.
Yeah. So we really wanted a creative outlet to just talk about other interests, which we don't do on our channel. Like
films, games, movies. Well, I've said movies. That's films twice. I was like films, games, and TV.
Maybe even books. Maybe
even books.
Maybe even music sometimes. It's literally just talking about world media pretty much.
Media entertainment.
It's nothing serious.
Just banter.
But, we have just banter. We have a few topics that we're going to talk about today. And the first one, just getting straight into it, is obviously the elephant in the room.
Yep, Captain Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel.
Yep.
So we went and saw it yesterday at a very nice cinema, the BFI.
The BFI IMAX is in Waterloo. Very nice. It's cinema. Very good.
Huge.
Like the screen was, I think the screen they said it was like 2 double-decker buses. I had to look up and you had to see it with the 3D glasses as well.
Oh, my eyes were fucked.
My eyes hurt. My eyes hurt like hell when it was doing it. I remember the intro where it shows the IMAX thing. My eyes were going cross-eyed automatically.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
It was like for the first 15 minutes, I was like, what am I watching? I was like tripping out. I felt like I was on LSD or something, and I have not done LSD. I have not done LSD.
He's not.
But no, I didn't know what was going on, and then I realised, we're watching a Marvel film. Yep. And then obviously the Stan Lee tribute.
The Stan Lee tribute. Okay, I think that was very classy.
Before we get into anything, I'm gonna try and not spoil the film, but there may be spoilers.
Yeah, there may be spoilers. Just be careful when watching this. So we're assuming that the people who are watching now have watched the film. If you haven't, then we won't
give away too many plot details.
Yeah, we won't give it away. But
when we do, we'll be like,
spoiler alert.
Warning. Spoiler alert.
We can't steal the wee woo thing. We can't steal it.
What's the wee woo thing?
From the Campcast, we can't steal that.
What's that?
What, the segue?
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry,
you forgot about that, but anyway, a meta joke.
Yeah. So that's basically it. So what were your initial thoughts?
I very much enjoyed the film initially because I think it was down to the hype. It was a midnight screening, and I love midnight screenings for the reason that everyone is a fan of the film, and they were really invested. Apart from one person behind us who was whooping and clapping at everything. Like the beginning of the film, that Stanley tribute was very classy. Yeah. I think that's one of the standouts of the film before the film's even started.
See, but everything you said there, you included the word initially.
Yeah.
See, this is where me and Faf we differ because Faf's seen it twice. He went and saw it the morning after.
I saw it again. I'm pretty sure it was like less than 12 hours after seeing it, I watched it again.
That's dedication to the cause.
Yeah.
That's what he does for this podcast.
Yeah.
But so Faf really likes it. Faf really liked it at first, and now he's changed his opinion a bit. Yeah. My personal thoughts on the film was I really enjoyed it. I went into it being extremely skeptical because of the original trailers Marvel released, where it looked dull as fuck. But it turned out that all of the clips in the trailers were the first 15-20 minutes. I mean, a few others.
It's like and also a lot of the lines weren't even there as well. Like the delivery is completely different in the film.
Yeah, I noticed that because it falls flat so much.
Yeah.
But when it's in the actual, the reason it falls flat is because they've literally gone into a conversation and taken a snippet out. Yeah. It's not like where it's this like big victory speech or big like speech to go into a battle. It's literally them being. I thought right now we were having a conversation and
then someone just spliced it together in like Premiere and was like, this is the trailer, this is what they said in the sentence. I remember they did this to Infinity War. In the trailer, it's like very specific, but in the second TV spot, there's something that Tony Stark says and it doesn't sound like anything he normally says. It's like what they did was they spliced 5 different clips together of different words and they did it in like less than a second, so it looked really weird. But it was like in the film it sounded completely normal. They did that with Captain Marvel. I didn't really like how they did it with the trailers. They did the film really dirty.
Yeah, I was watching. Obviously, I watched Cosmo Variety Hour's review on it, and he literally said the word for word what we both said to each other the moment the film stopped. We turned to each other and we literally said the trailer did the film dirty.
Yeah, we were just like the trailer did the film very, very dirty.
And that was how he opened his video. That is,
yeah,
like,
he even said it was like the trailers did the film dirty even before he made a point.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if you don't know who Cosmo Variety Hour is, he is another. Well, I say another comic book YouTuber. We're not comic book YouTubers, but he is a YouTuber that talks about films and occasionally games. Good YouTuber. I recommend him.
He's very good with comics as well. Like he knows his stuff.
He reviewed every single episode, every single film from the Marvel franchise, and we've
23 films.
We sat down and watched it, didn't we?
It was a very good video. It's like he managed to do it so it wasn't overbearing, where it was like really long and boring. He had the different segments, and it really worked.
Yeah. He's also a big fan of Homecoming, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And that he is a big fan.
He is a big fan. He likes Homecoming. I think they said that was his favorite one, his favorite Spider-Man.
It's
film.
High Top Films that doesn't like Homecoming.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd say I have strongish opinions on Homecoming. I liked it, but it was like
Homecoming.
I think Homecoming was in terms of Spider-Man. The best Spider-Man film for me is Into the Spider-Verse, but Homecoming is a very close second for me. Or Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2 and Homecoming are similar.
I think Homecoming out of the
MCU.
No, not just the MCU, but like non-animated films.
Non-animated films, yeah.
I think it's the best. It's just that one, the scene of where it's when he goes like do a flip, and the whole music with the Ramones and stuff in the background. Wait, was it the Ramones in the background?
It was the Ramones. Yeah. I was like, hey. Let's go.
Yeah. I know. I just like that. That just seems like Spider-Man to me.
Yeah, it was the most Spider-Man type of thing that's happened so far. It was like, because most of the other films was like world-ending threats, like, the Green Goblin, and Venom, and Sandman, and Doc Ock. It's like, why don't we have one where it's like just a neighborhood Spider-Man? That was the first one that went, it was a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I feel like that can segue very nicely back into Captain Marvel. I feel like that's a problem. Well, not really a phase 3 problem. It's more of a phase 1 problem of where every single villain was like, I'm going to destroy the entire universe.
And I'm you, but stronger, and I'm going to destroy everyone. That was the one thing that I didn't like. I think the one thing about Captain Marvel that I didn't like really was it felt like so much of a phase 1 film.
Yes.
Like, I felt like if it was in phase 1, I'd probably be like, this is a pretty good foundation.
I think if it was in phase 1, other than the Avengers, it would have been considered the best phase 1 film.
Yeah, it would.
But it's difficult to compare phase 1 to this film, and that's mainly because obviously the CGI 10 years ago was significantly worse than
you say that, but I'd say Iron Man, oh my goodness,
but his suit used to not be CGI.
Yeah, no, it was practical.
And
I think
it's
that's
so
why it
noticeable because the old Iron Man suit is so much nicer.
It's so much
nicer.
It's nice and clunky.
The Iron Man 2 suit, the big clunky one. Do you not like it?
I know, I liked it.
You know when he's in like the he's in the donut shop.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one. Like that shot of him just like lying down, just having the donut and on the phone. That is a very good shot. I liked it.
You can see how clunky the suit is.
Yeah, which is why I think that's something that I didn't like about Infinity War as well. Like one thing, I think my opinions on films is also I look at the CGI a lot and I use that to judge whether the film's good or not as well. When I looked at Infinity War, they did so much work on Thanos that I noticed that Iron Man's suit looked like shit. Like I'm not even gonna lie.
It was ridiculously streamlined.
Yeah, as in I like the bleeding edge design. I like the concept of it with nanotech and everything. The problem is the way they applied it didn't look as good. As in it was
the Marvel CGI problem.
That was the Marvel CGI problem. So.
Yeah, it's also with Tom Holland's suit as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I remember. I constantly make references to the scene, but there's one scene where he's doing. It's the montage where he's like helping people. There's one scene in particular where he's swinging across all of the.
It's when he's going over the roof.
It's going where he's going over the roofs, and it's like that one scene. I was like, that highlighted a problem that they had. It looked like something out of like It looked like something out of like the PS2 game, like Spider-Man 2 PS2 game.
Yeah, it's funny though because I say Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, but it's weird because the most disliked Spider-Man has the best suit, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
his suit is incredible.
Oh my
The Amazing
goodness.
Spider-Man 2 was the best suit, and that's so funny because that film is so
I think
bad.
that film's the worst one out of every Spider-Man film. Like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 literally had nothing going for it because people like to hate on like the Raimi trilogy, and it's like Spider-Man 3. It's like it's seen as the weakest one.
Is the greatest film.
Well, yeah, you can say, you can say that, but I think people like to rag on Spider-Man 3. The problem is though, it had the charm. It had the Raimi charm. Like it's like it knew how campy it was, and it sold the film even more. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was like let's make a dark. It was like we look at the Dark Knight Rises. Let's do that with Spider-Man and Electro and Green Goblin. Yeah. Like they didn't learn from Spider-Man 3, and they made it darker, which made it really stupid.
But also, I think what the MCU does differently is that they go completely opposite to the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which I think that's great. That's great, but I'm really worried. This is what I was speaking about someone the other day. I was like, after seeing Captain Marvel and the lightheartedness of it, and them going to the sort of the cosmic vibe of everything, I'm really wondering: is there going to be any gritty films anymore? I feel like Endgame's going to be like quite a nitty gritty film.
Yeah, they even said I think with Endgame is meant to be like the darkest film. Yeah, it's like the darkest hour. It's like
darker than like the ending of Civil War or just Winter Soldier in general.
Yeah, I'd say I'm thinking that it's going to be the darkest one in terms of like, because Winter Soldier and Civil War were they were like dark, but I think
they were like not dark, but they were like spy gritty.
Yeah, it was a spy. It was like a gritty spy thriller.
And I know we are getting Black Widow, which finally, after like 10, 12 years, like Jesus Christ, they finally made a Black Widow film. But it's almost, it almost doesn't. I know we are jumping topics to talk about.
Yeah, we're jumping topics.
But it's almost that the Black Widow film. It's almost like it kind of makes no sense. It just doesn't fit because it's a prequel, and I'm like, why are you giving a prequel to a character that's been in the series for 10 years when they're most likely going to be moving out of the main
exactly. They're moving out of the main fold into like...
Because obviously they're going to move into X-Men,
Fantastic Four, all that kind of stuff.
The Skrulls are going to be used a lot.
Yeah, the Skrulls are going to, and the Kree and everything, they're going to be used. I think, to be fair, the Kree were using Guardians of the Galaxy, so I can't really talk about that, but the Skrulls are going to be used a lot.
Let's go back. Let's go
all the way back. All the way back to Captain Marvel, yeah.
All right, so the whole premise is, I'm going to give like a plot summary of what the film is. I'm not going to give too many spoilers away. So basically, Brie Larson, as in Captain Marvel, is a Kree. It's not. I can't really explain about.
It's very.
There's a war.
Yeah, there's a war going
between
on,
the
Kree and the Skrulls.
The Kree and the Skrulls. And I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. I want you to go see it.
Go see it.
But the Skrulls are so good.
The Skrulls are genuinely good.
I was worried about the Skrulls because I was like, what was is it the Dark Elves? I thought, are we going to get...
That's what when I first, because I had knowledge from the comics before, but if anyone came in blind watching the MCU and they went into watching this, they'd think it's the Dark Elves from the Dark World.
No. When I first saw it, I thought to myself, wait, is that the Dark Elves? And I completely forgot the Skrulls exist.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, wait, is Christopher Eccleston finally coming back? But it's like, it's like then.
Wait, Christopher Eccleston was...
He was in Thor: The Dark World. He was the leader of the Dark Elves. It was like, they wasted him.
I was watching Thor 1 the other day.
Yeah.
And it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right. That's all you can say.
But Jesus, I forgot that. I didn't even realize. I swear every actor has somewhere been in the MCU.
Yes,
even DC actors.
Yeah. But quickly going back to Captain Marvel, I think the beginning, I really like the way the beginning.
That's funny you say that because most people I've seen review it didn't like the beginning, and they said the film progressively got better, which is very different from
Marvel. That's very different from Marvel.
Because usually the
beginning, like the beginning's very good, the middle's like really good, and then the ending is like lacking a bit. Yeah,
they didn't. That it was I think it was the only origin story which didn't have the big pointless bad guy. I think everyone the bad guys had actual motives, because obviously. I don't want to say the bad guy. I'll just say the bad guys had motives.
Yeah, it's like with I was about to say about what about Doctor Strange, because I remember what's the guy, like Mads Mikkelsen's character, Caecilius.
I've genuinely only seen Doctor Strange once.
Yeah, I've seen it I think 2 times, but that's mainly because the CGI was like amazing. But it was like it was like with Doctor Strange. I think with the origin one, I thought that the villains had motives. Like the film was going really well, but one thing I liked about Phase 3 in general, and this includes Captain Marvel, I think they've upped the game with their last climactic battles, because in the first, like in Phase 1 and 2, it was all, I think Phase 2 was the biggest victim of this.
I can't say the word. The choreography.
The choreography
in the fight scenes was very good in this.
Yeah. That's one thing I liked about Captain Marvel. It's like I think Phase 2 was the most guilty of this, where it was like the heroes are stuck and they're just there. It was like
there was only one film in the whole of Phase 2 which had good fight scenes, and I think you already know what film I'm talking about.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
there's like
the
Winter
knife
Soldier.
scene.
The knife. that wielding the knife, Jesus Christ.
Why can they not do things like that anymore?
I think
like
it's
that,
because
that scene, every time I watch it, I get goosebumps watching that scene.
Yeah,
scene. If you haven't watched The Winter Soldier, you need to go watch that film.
And watch it for the choreography as well. Like, look closely because everything, they sell it so well.
I get really annoyed because some of the film, like the comic book YouTubers that I watch, like, you know who they are. The whole group of them, there's like High Tops Films, Cosmore, Brown Table, all that lot, Full Fat Videos. Yeah, I know they all like Winter Soldier, but some of them give it stick because they're like, it's just another cliche Marvel film, because there are a lot of cliches in it. Don't get me wrong.
There are a lot of cliches.
Like when he breaks out and he's just randomly on a bike.
Yeah,
but I'm like, at the end of the day, I know it's a bullshit excuse, but it is just a comic book film.
It is just a comic book film. It's like when he says it's only a game where you have to be mad. It's only a comic book.
There's a big purple man who's just wiped out half of existence.
Exactly, it's a purple
using
grapefruit.
7 stones.
Yeah, it's like a purple grapefruit that used 4 different colored stones.
That is one of the main problems with the MCU. A lot of the fans, I don't want to say anything, but a lot of the fans may take it a bit too serious.
Yeah,
like when I see them videos being like, "Wait, hold up." Didn't Captain America? How did he stop Spider-Man and then he lost in a fight to Bucky? It's like I watched because it was when he pulls in Civil War, when he pulls Spider-Man's webs.
Yeah.
But then he's obviously lost in fights before to Bucky and stuff. It's like there's like such the power levels in the MCU are obviously so mixed, and then. Who's Vision, for example? Yeah, Vision got nerfed. Like
they had to nerf him because he could have ended the film in a second if he really wanted. Like I think all the villains they had to. I think with Infinity War, before we get back to Captain Marvel, but with Infinity War they needed to nerf Vision because Vision was literally impervious to damage and had the Mind Stone as well. Yeah. They had to get. It just so happened that the Black Order.
The only problem is though they didn't. I mean. He was nerfed, like, because obviously he got stabbed in the back.
That's what I was saying.
I feel like Vision in Civil War would have detected when people are creeping up on them.
Yeah, exactly. And even a few minutes before, he detected saying Thanos is coming because of his Mind Stone was hurting.
Yeah,
I was like...
And he got stabbed so easily. And as I said, you can't think about it too much.
Don't think about it too much or else it'll be like...
Because you could pick apart every Marvel film.
Yeah, you really could.
Infinity War, you could
pick it apart like really badly as well.
It's like... I don't know. Maybe people will take it serious because obviously they are the most popular films.
Yeah, to be fair, it's the highest grossing franchise of all time. So
at the end of the day, they are from comic books.
They're from comic books, and comic books do not. They're
no
balls
rules
to the wall. Like
that's the reason we love them because there's no rules.
Exactly. So going back to Captain Marvel again, because I think this is going to be a recurring issue. We like to segue a lot.
It's a podcast. Maybe. When the next film comes out, or we have to go see a film, because it's not just based on superhero films, but this episode specifically is going to be based on superhero films. But maybe we plan to upload like 10-minute videos of where we might just go over one specific thing, like a quick we'll just shoot out
like a tidbit,
like a little tidbit, and just random things here and there. It's not just going to be a full podcast channel. It's just going to be a load of random shit.
Load of random stuff. Like I'd really like to do reviews on my own channel, but it's like I can't do it all the time, so I'll just do it's like it's compressed opinions on the film will go on this one. Pretty much. But so I think with the thing that I liked about Captain Marvel, in fact, because I don't want to do that, we shouldn't do too much over the plot, but I think one thing I did like about Captain Marvel was the fact that everyone, I remember, as in I don't like to go into politics and everything too much, but I remember where before the film came out, everyone was saying it's going to be the typical feminist film where it's like, wow, all men suck, that kind of stuff. They didn't really. I think there
was one scene where it was like they played like a girl power song or some shit.
That scene.
I know you cringe at that, but I don't care about that because this is gonna wind a few people up. But for one, they didn't push the whole feminist.
They did not. They did not. Honestly, they did not. If anyone says they're lying.
I admittedly was surprised because we've all seen Star Wars: The Force Awakens
and The Last Jedi.
And we all know about Rey in that film. It's a little bit overpowered.
Yeah, it's just a tiny bit OP. I remember
that she only overpowered the guy that took down the entire Knights of Ren. But but we're not moving on to that because Star Wars is another bag of worms. Like,
it's a bag of worms.
Well, that fan base will murder me.
They will murder
franchise.
us both.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I don't know about Faf.
Yeah, I'd say Star Wars is something that I can genuinely enjoy, and I'm invested in it. Like, I think people are gonna definitely kill me for this, but I actually enjoyed the new Star Trek films better than the Star Wars trilogy.
What?
Honestly,
even I know the Star Trek films were bad.
No. I think the films went. I think a lot of people. The misconception is that I think Into Darkness wasn't good, but the first Star Trek 2009 and beyond were genuinely enjoyable and didn't. They knew what they were as a film.
I just can't enjoy Star Trek. Like, I don't like Star Wars, but I can sit down and watch a Star Wars film. And
I can understand.
Like, the main one which I can sit down and watch is Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
It's always Revenge.
Yes.
That film.
Honestly, the Revenge of the Sith is legit one of my favorite Star Wars films. I mean, like, people like to rag on the prequels, but the prequels are so much more enjoyable than the sequels.
It's like they're funny.
They're fun.
It's like watching Spider-Man 3.
It's enjoyable. It's comfy. You can sit down and watch it, and you'll be like, "Wow, this is great." Like, George Lucas had that flair.
But the new films don't have rewatch value.
Yeah, it does. They don't have rewatch value.
I saw the only one actually I think has some rewatch value is Rogue One. I saw that film 4 times in cinema.
Yeah.
That's a Star Wars film where I'd be like, I fucking really like that film. Yeah. I haven't seen Solo.
Neither have I. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not going to. That says it all when Faf hasn't seen Solo.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of
90% of films.
Yeah,
but
we are segueing so much. I love this.
Yeah, it's crazy how we've bounced. Yeah. But we're finishing off on Captain Marvel. But
about the feminist, I did say about like the feminist thing. Like, they didn't. I think the only scenes in which they did like kind of beat it above the head is like the scenes. You know those scenes where it was like the flashback scenes where it was like, oh, you can't do this because you're a girl. You know, like the scenes where she was training. Like,
but it was like that.
It was like that. But I think the beginning of the film, I think Jude Law's character, I really like Jude Law's character. Yeah. He was like, the one thing in the beginning though is that I think the beginning was gone at breakneck speed. I liked the speed, like the pacing in the beginning, mainly because everything happened at once. The problem is though, I felt that a lot of characters were wasted with the message. Like Marvel, I'm not going to spoil too much because I think the cast has said it. So spoiler alert, and I'm going to say right now, so yes, it's a bit of a spoiler, but Marvel's character was kind of wasted in that film, my honest opinion.
That's the one thing I didn't understand about that film. Was she a bad guy or a good guy?
You know, I think she's a bit. I think she like
because the ending bit. I'm not going to spoil it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
the
what
ending
you're talking
bit.
about.
I didn't know if she was just hallucinating. There is some issues when I think about it. There is some issues. Yeah. I just didn't really get what was happening.
I think so my interpretation of that, and this is with a tiny bit of spoilers, is that it was they had like the wires that were plugged into her like her head and everything that went into her consciousness, and the consciousness like it projects what they're like.
So she was a good guy.
She was good. What Carol saw, what Captain Marvel saw was the best version of like, you know, Marvel. That wasn't Marvel though. It was being controlled by the outside.
Also though, they never called her Captain Marvel in the whole thing.
That's the one thing. That's one of the things I didn't like about the film as well.
They never called her Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I think the one thing. Okay. Yeah, so the one thing I didn't like was when a film, a lot of superhero films and a lot of films in general get hampered by the amnesia storyline where the main character doesn't have good memories of the past. The only films I can think that's done it well as the Bourne trilogy, but in terms of the Bourne trilogy is really good, the whole amnesia thing, because that's part of his character. The problem is
Spider-Man 3.
Maybe. I think the problem is with Captain Marvel was that they tried to make it like really like it's the whole thing where it was like,
I've never read the origins for the comics of Captain Marvel, so I can't comment if they do that in the film.
Yeah, I think the whole thing about the Veers thing, I did not like where it was like, oh, your identity is Veers. It's like something you see in a children's book where it's like, you know, a half of a paper is being ripped and there's like the other half of a name. It's like, that's your name now. And that's the one thing I really didn't like about Captain Marvel. I think amongst other things, it was the whole amnesia storyline that really hampered the film and messed with the pacing. While one of the scenes was really good, like the scene where she realizes her own identity and that kind of stuff, I felt that it was, you know, it didn't really sell it that well. It didn't really sell the amnesia storyline.
I can see that. Again, it's one thing which is difficult to do with an all-powerful superhero is to do an origin story.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like Man of Steel did. I
like Man of Steel.
I liked Man of Steel. I'm not even going to lie. I think it did it well.
Say superhero? Sorry about that.
And that was I'm Alex.
And that was I'm Alex.
We won't cut that.
We will not cut that.
We won't cut that. I'm Alex. I don't like you. I don't like you.
We don't like you.
Getting back into it. I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, Man of Steel was the only. I say the only DCEU film I liked.
I liked.
Let's go
DCEU.
We'll
do that. I think we should save the DCEU for like later on into the podcast or another episode because that's a can of worms as well.
But I'm just gonna say I liked Aquaman. That's.
I liked Aquaman.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I think I had strong opinions about it because it was like as a film, it was like I enjoyed it. It's like James Wan as a director is very good.
I'd say Aquaman and Captain Marvel are on the same level.
Yeah, in terms of like quality, it's like something you can enjoy, but there's a lot of flaws that you need to look past before you can.
I think Captain Marvel does have rewatch value. I think I would go back and rewatch it.
I went back and rewatched it, and I genuinely did like
because it's funny.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson was the. I'm saying Samuel L. Jackson
and the main
and Ben Mendelsohn.
Was that the main scroll?
It was Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I never realized.
Ben Mendelsohn normally plays like the villain type in Star Wars. In Star Wars, like it was Hux and everything. It was like. I never
realized that was him.
We will not spoil it, but Ben Mendelsohn plays a completely different, version of himself. He is fantastic. Him and Samuel L. Jackson.
The humor in that film. I honestly would say Captain Marvel is one of the funniest Marvel films.
I'd say it's one of the funniest. I think apart from the beating over the head with the 90s nostalgia thing, I'd say it was like.
But I'm a big guy for like loving 90s nostalgia, so they played into my nostalgia. I know you don't like that.
I think the problem was that if it's for people, it's like that's the one problem that I think loads of people think it's like a straw man argument, but it's one problem that I really didn't like with films nowadays. It's like. Especially with Infinity War and those kind of films, it's fan service. Yeah. Fan service can be good, but it shouldn't get to the point where it was like, hey, I clapped when I saw that thing. Or it's like, it's like, I like the scene where she fell down and then it just panned down to a blockbuster. That was a good, that's funny. The problem is when it was like, oh, look at that thing over there. That's the thing from the 90s. That you remember the thing from the 90s? Yeah. Like, you remember this one? Remember computers from the 90s?
Also, there was another interesting thing that got brought up to me. It's another nitpick because obviously retcons happen, they change a few things here and there. In the film, it's based around S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't formed. It wasn't called S.H.I.E.L.D. then. Yeah, it was formed, but it wasn't called
S.H.I.E.L.D. It wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. because Coulson in Iron Man 1 was like saying S.H.I.E.L.D.
You should shorten that because that was the whole joke of Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
They kept repeating and you didn't clock that it was S.H.I.E.L.D. until the end.
Until the end, like, it says S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's staring you in the face, but you don't realize. But it's a nitpick.
It's a nitpick. And also one more nitpick as well. Again, spoiler warning. In The Winter Soldier, Nick Fury said something about losing an eye based off something that he trusts. When you watch this film, you'll probably, I'm just saying, keep that line in mind. Keep that scene in mind where he says it.
I'm surprised more people didn't have that in their mind. Because the moment I saw what we're now talking about, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it, the moment I saw that in the trailer, I knew that was the one.
That was the guy. That was the thing. Because it was like, I think one thing really quickly, I was going to lead into the beginning of the film again, but the first chase scene with Samuel L. Jackson where it was like one of the Skrulls was in that bus.
Yes.
I think that scene, it was a funnier scene where, because it first showed like the threat of the Skrulls, it showed like the threat, like they can change into anything. The problem is though, I genuinely didn't like the way that scene was edited.
Oh, really?
I think
the camera work.
It's like not just the camera work, but it's editing, the way it was cut and stuff. I thought it was genuinely like some mistakes. Like, this isn't a big spoiler; it literally happens in the scene. But there's one part of the scene where you know how they're driving and they're weaving in and out of cars. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, like, there's a scene where it just like they hit a wall or something. Then it just cuts back to fight scenes, cuts back and forth. I didn't like the way they did the cutting in that chase scene. That's the one. I felt that it was really shoddy. It was like, they could have done something better with that scene.
I do feel though, where it was filmed, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, to be fair, I remember I did read a Reddit comments about this. People who are familiar with the geography of that area that they were doing the chase scene noticed that the train went from one side of the state to the other, to the other, to the other. Like the trains went everywhere in one scene, and they tried to make it seem like one journey. So if you're familiar with the geography, I think it was Southern California. But if you're familiar with that, then just like pay attention to the film because it will be quite funny when you notice it. So yeah. There's one thing.
There was also one thing I wanted to pick up on. Is this film the biggest mispronunciation-based film of all time.
I think so. Oh,
because it's not called Captain Marvel; it's Captain Marvel.
It's Marvel, but the problem I remember the problem with that scene was that I feel like that scene was like a beat over the head.
That was like, hey, we're a Marvel film.
Hey, remember Marvel? Like that's the brand that we're doing. Clap now. It's like,
I'm not even. I don't even care. I'm just gonna say it. When they were trying, this is a spoiler. So this is a spoiler. So mute now. Skip about 2 minutes ahead. There was basically a scene of where Nick Fury and Captain Marvel were sat down, and they were going over the name Marvel, weren't they? And Nick Fury pronounced it Marvel, and he was like, "You should call it Marvel.
You should call it Marvel. Better. Marvel sounds better." I was like. What?
It was like
I can imagine the people script writing. They'll just be there. There's like we good at that.
And there was this one dude behind us just going woo like the whole time, and I'm like, dude, he just said Marvel.
He just said Marvel. I think one thing about midnight screenings, and I think we're gonna get this a lot with Avengers Endgame. But that guy that was with the person behind us that was whooping and clapping.
I swear to God, we were in an American audience.
It was the most
I've
American
never
audience
experienced
like
cinema like
before the film started. Remember that guy who just came with the microphone and said, "Hello, everybody."
So basically, we obviously we said earlier we went to the BFI cinema, and we got in there, massive cinema, and I sat down, and there are Americans behind us, and I ain't got a problem.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Americans,
No
but
problem.
I have a problem with Americans when it comes to a cinema. So we were waiting, and then some dude comes out of a microphone, and he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we are watching Captain Marvel." He said we're watching Captain. He said really loud, "We're watching Captain Marvel." Then we sang Happy Birthday.
Oh my God. No, it was like, wait, first he was like, "Are you ready?" And everyone was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, I can't hear you. Are you ready?" Everyone was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, and there's someone in the crowd. It's David." And everyone was like, "Let's sing Happy Birthday." So it was like, "Happy Birthday." It's like
at this point in time, all that was in my mind was I am 4 minutes behind the rest of the world on Captain Marvel right now.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the film was meant to start 20 minutes ago. We had to do trailer. We had to do advertisements, then trailers, and then they cut.
We did get to see the Endgame trailer in an IMAX.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it's a kind of a cheat thing that I have as well. I have the IMAX copy of the trailer on my computer. It's one of the things.
But it's not an IMAX screen.
It's the IMAX copy.
Yeah, but you haven't got like. It's so different on a fucking 500-inch TV.
Okay, so one thing. Okay, so very quickly, something about IMAX is that IMAX. The difference between IMAX and a normal film, everyone should make this obvious, is that IMAX is full screen. It's like the size of a TV screen. The problem is. Films, you know how films have the cinematic black bars? Yeah. That's what every film has. That's what every film sees. IMAX does not have the black bars. Avengers Endgame and Infinity War are the only films in history to have the entire film shot in IMAX. So it was like, I have a full screen copy of the trailer.
Has it been approved for IMAX then?
It has been approved for IMAX. It's been approved. The problem is, IMAX...
Was there any doubt, really?
Yeah, exactly. Was there any doubt? But it's like, IMAX are so stubborn, they won't release the IMAX copy of the film on DVD or Blu-ray.
Why?
IMAX themselves, basically, Disney don't have the rights to IMAX copies of their film. IMAX does. Yeah. IMAX have refused to,
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Normally,
surely they would take some percentage of profits.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Normally, every other film that's been released, like Mission Impossible Fallout, had like the IMAX sequence of the helicopters, and on the Blu-ray version, on the 3D Blu-ray version of anything, it goes to IMAX when it goes to that scene. They get it, but Infinity War.
Has it not even been leaked?
No leaks. All the YouTube videos that say, here's the IMAX version of the scene, all these just zoom in. I was like,
That's
like
nuts.
It's like, yeah.
Well, that's actually, are they going to release it in both at the same time or something?
They have to, surely, because it's like that IMAX, like watching Infinity War in IMAX was a liberating experience.
They need to re-release it in the BFI because the moment they do, we need to go watch it.
We're watching it, yeah.
I only saw Infinity War once in the cinema.
Really?
Once.
Oh my God.
That hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does hurt. I think in terms of films that I've seen multiple times, I'd say the most is Infinity War and Into the Spider-Verse. I cannot count on 2 fingers the amount of times I've seen both of those films. I'm not even gonna lie. Into the Spider-Verse and Infinity War. Oh yeah. Those are the 2 films I've watched the most in cinemas because new things every time. You see new things every time. You can experience it, and it's different crowds each time. Sometimes I'm in an empty cinema, and that's like all well and good. But yeah,
that goes back to what we were talking about. We completely segued off the crowd thing. Yeah. So we were in the cinema, and the guy was announcing it, and then we sang Happy Birthday, and then the film starts, and everyone's silent at this point.
Yeah.
Like we thought we're in a nice normal
cinema. Yeah,
and then suddenly the Stan Lee tribute.
The Marvel intro, and it's like,
Stan
and
Lee.
I just like it'll be best to do it the first time. So a bit of spoilers. So skip 30 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. Spoiler alert. But the tribute to Stan Lee was very well done. What they did was, instead, the typical Marvel Studios intro had each of the heroes do their thing like in a sketch format. Like if you see the Marvel Studios intro, it does all the intros there, has all the characters doing all their stuff from each of their films. This time they replaced all of the characters with Stan Lee, like the text. Yeah, so they had Stan Lee, like,
all his cameos.
It was all of his cameos and also drawings of him by various other artists as well. And then it was like, "Thank you, Stan," at the end. When that happened, that was a very, very well done tribute.
Even I.
To be fair, I'm not gonna lie. That's the
the
first time I've ever like applauded. I'd say applauded something that they've done, because that is very classy from Marvel. Yeah. Like they could have, they did it for Into the Spider-Verse was heartfelt as well, because in Into the Spider-Verse at the very end they had
Stan Lee
he had a cameo appearance. That was a very well done cameo appearance, and I'm not even gonna lie. I think that was the first one after his death, and his cameo appearance in that film was probably one of the best ones.
When's his last cameo gonna
his
be?
Cameo, they filmed multiple in advance, even before the films have come out.
How though? Because like, how do they record them?
So what they do is that they give him something to do. So they give him something to do, and then they do it. Like in Infinity War, that was just him as a bus driver.
Do you know what that means?
What?
Stan Lee is one of the only people in the world that know the next load of Marvel films that are coming. Because it's pretty weird that we don't know, because in 2014 they released the big reel of Phase 2 and Phase 3.
Yeah,
and then we haven't had anything since.
No, that's because they need to finish Phase
Fox.
3. I think, and also Fox thing. Disney said themselves they're not releasing Marvel films for a while after Far From Home.
Yeah, they're taking a 10-month gap.
Yeah, it's as in normally it's normal, but no one knows what's afterwards.
They haven't taken a 10-month gap throughout the entire franchise.
Yeah.
They haven't. You have to think about it.
Wait, what was the difference between Avengers 1 and what's the first one?
Avengers 1 came out in 2012, yes?
Yeah, 2012. 2013, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, Guardians, and For the Dark World? Yes, For the Dark World. So 3 came out that year.
Age of Ultron came out in 2015.
Winter Soldier 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. What else came out in 2014? There was another film.
I don't think it was.
It must have been.
I don't think they.
No way did they do 2. No, they've done 3.
They did no. They did 2. They did 2. They only started doing 3 recently.
Oh, so Winter Soldier and Guardians. Winter Soldier and Guardians in 1 year. God.
Oh, but that.
Do you know what the worst thing is?
Marvelous.
I used to fucking hate Marvel films at that point.
Yeah.
What? It was wait. No. Sorry. I gave up on Marvel films after
Thor.
No, after Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah, Age of Ultron was a disappointment, but we'll get to that in a bit.
We'll get into that. We'll do that in another episode.
Yeah.
I think we are also discussing Game of Thrones today as well.
Yeah.
But so I want to go back to the audience.
We need to focus.
So the Stan Lee thing comes. Everyone cheers. I think that's pretty normal to cheer at that.
Yeah.
Then every single scene, like Captain Marvel speaks almost for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just people screaming
like,
and cheering. And these Americans behind me would not stop talking. I swear I even heard a phone go off.
Yep.
It was literally just like screaming and cheering. And I have never experienced cinema like that.
Oh my goodness.
For the Americans watching this, because there's probably about 50% of Americans watching this.
Yeah.
Why do you scream and cheer during films?
Yeah, that's something.
After it, I went onto YouTube and I typed in Infinity War fan reactions.
Have you seen the video? I think you've seen
when Thor arrives in
Wakanda. Yeah,
it's fucking mental.
Honestly, I'd actually really love to experience that in an American cinema.
I would like. That's one which I can justify. That's like the most badass scene throughout the whole.
Yeah. I think though, one thing. Okay, so people say American cinemas are bad, and Indian cinemas are much worse. I'm not even gonna lie. Watching Indian reactions to Age of Infinity War, oh my goodness! But one scene that I didn't like the Americans like cheering at in Infinity War was, Iron Man's fight with Thanos, like the fight where Thanos stabbed him, where it's my only curse is you, and he does it. Everyone was like, yeah. But when Iron Man punched Thanos and made him bleed, the whole cinema was erupting like yeah, and they were screaming and cheering so much you didn't hear Thanos' line say all that for a drop of blood.
No way.
You didn't hear it.
That line is so iconic, and that's main because I always feel like there's a deeper meaning to that. I always feel like it's like them 10 years of
10 years only
all
for
them
a drop
suits
of
you've
blood.
made, that the Avengers Initiative, everything you've done for one
drop of blood.
Because every single Avengers film is because of Thanos.
Yeah, apart from Age of Ultron.
No,
Age of Ultron was directly Tony Stark's fault, which is why the guilt racked him. Yeah. So what happened is with I
swear it ties into somewhere to Thanos.
No, it did not. I think that Age of Ultron was one of those things where it was like just another day for the Avengers.
Is that not worrying? That they can't make a good Avengers film without Thanos' influence. They will. Doctor Doom's gonna come in and do something.
Yeah. I was about to say. That would have worried me as well. But I haven't
thought about that.
Because I'd say in terms of how they've done like with the MCU in general and the Avengers as well, I think the crowd reaction to that scene where it was happening, they didn't hear Thanos' line and they were still cheering when Thanos was like completely fucking Iron Man up. And then when Tony got stabbed, the whole cinema went silent. It went. Honestly, I had like a shit-eating grin when everyone went silent. I was just
I was obviously a Thanos fanboy, so and I wanted Thanos to win, so I am a very evil person. Everyone was like, what the fuck? When I said on Twitter, I was happy when Spider-Man died. I was like, when I was in the cinema, I was like, they're not gonna kill Spider-Man.
And then he did it.
And he died.
Oh no, I remember the first time I watched it, legit. I think the first time I watched it, I couldn't stop laughing, mainly because when Spider-Man died, Tony did something like he like rubbed his hand, like I think it was accidental because it was like in the scene, but if you look at when Spider-Man gets dusted and is afterwards, immediately like how when Tony like hits the thing, he wipes his hand then looks at it. I think that might have been a bit of a mistake on his part, like he literally just goes like that and then looks at it and was like, what? I was like,
Shelley was just looking if the dust was still there.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, he was
and that made you laugh?
No, I don't know. Well,
you're laughing at the body particles.
No, but the way he did it looked like it was a mistake, and it was like, well, Spider-Man's dead. Let me just dust myself off.
Yeah. I wonder how they did do the dusting. If they
Oh no, they did that. I watched. Okay, I'm gonna probably if and when this gets uploaded to YouTube, I'm going to put a link in the description. The VFX company that was in charge of the dusting showed how they did it, and how they did it was really cool. So what they did was, if you rewatch the film, if you put it in any editing program, look very closely at when each of the characters dust. If there's one frame where you can tell they switched to a 3D animated version of themselves. So what the VFX company did was that they had like they got a complete utter double. They completely remade the body in CGI. So it wasn't
That's
like,
insane.
Yeah, as in basically they had them. It wasn't even with any green screen or blue screen or anything. They got the references and they did in all the lighting. Then they put it in a 3D animation program and they simulated the dust going away, which is why I think the one thing where it's the most noticeable what they put in the video was when Quill got dusted. You can tell that it gets to animated because you can notice that he turns into a 3D character about 2 frames before he dusts away.
But I feel like the only people that notice it are the people that work in animation.
Exactly. So I noticed it mainly because it was like, if you look at his eyes and his eyes look really weird as he's dusting away, that was an animation thing that they did on their part. That scene and when he got dusted, when I noticed it mainly because it was like, I think with Spider-Man, what they did was he was completely animated, like everything that he was doing apart from his head. Like he was animated, and you're saying I don't feel so good. It's because they had like the dust coming off of him.
So wait, so that scene wasn't improvised?
It was improvised. It was improvised. Like the actor did it. Like they did the best scene. Then they recreated his movements with the suit because the suit's not real. Like the suit was a motion capture. But what they did was that they recreated him in complete and utter 3D, which is why while they're being dusted, it looks like nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Because it looks so weird when they're dusting away because it's like it's all there. But yeah, I'll put a link in the description for the clip where they show all of this happening. It's very interesting. So.
Yeah, I'm so surprised he didn't win an Oscar for that scene.
VFX.
No, Tom Holland's improvisation. No, I'm joking. You didn't.
I was about to say. I thought it was like,
you fuck the Oscars.
Fuck the Oscars. Yeah. Fuck the Oscars. And that guy at the Game Awards, I went like, fuck the Oscars. Yeah. So I was like, that was funny. But anyway, so. We have segued so much. We started with Captain Marvel. We're all the way talking about VFX and Infinity War.
We've given our opinions here and there on Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I would give Captain Marvel a rating of after initial hype has died down. I would give it a strong 7.5 out of 10.
7. I'd say 7.5, 7.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because I think it was serviceable. It was funny. The jokes landed, and some of the jokes didn't, but some of the jokes did. I'm gonna like just quick fuck child actors. I'm not even gonna lie.
What? Yeah, I thought she was really good.
She was good. No, I think she.
Did you not like her?
I think the beginning. as it got on, she got better. The first introduction of her, it was, I don't know what's with. I think Marvel are good at directing like child actors, but there's one thing about that one scene at the beginning of like, you know,
Really?
when she got introduced, it just felt really weird. It was like that scene in Suicide Squad where it's like where Deadshot's daughter's there, and it was like, you know, oh yeah,
that's Suicide Squad.
Yeah, to me, I know that is Suicide Squad, but I think it was not that it was bad. In fact, I probably should take back that statement before someone takes it out of context. But like, there was something about the very introduction, like at the very beginning when she was introduced.
I can't even remember. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly, no, but like the first 30 seconds, and I literally just like, I just leaned back and just went, oh fuck, he's gonna get another one of those.
And then the
it got
American
better
behind
though.
You screamed.
Yeah.
right into fucking ear.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10 for you, or 7?
I'd 7. Yeah,
All right,
pretty much.
all right.
I'd say it was good. I'd say good, serviceable, and it was funny. Some of the jokes landed, and it was like, it was good as Captain Marvel as a character, and also the climactic fight scene. One thing I did like about that fight scene was that, I want a bit of spoilers. They didn't go for like one of those typical phase 3 super battles with like everything there with the main bad person. It was literally just like, that's the one thing I liked about it. It was like, you know, it was toned down from the rest.
Yeah.
It was like Winter Soldier. Like,
Yeah. I am thoroughly looking forward to watching my favourite YouTubers dismantle a film and make me dislike it.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the political channels say like, oh, it was too much of an SJW thing. I didn't watch the film. I just think it's SJW.
I don't think the political channels can really say anything because there was no politics in it.
I know, but now they're saying that. But you know, well, now they're saying that, oh, Rotten Tomatoes are deleting the score or something. It was like Disney are shilling the film. I was like, one thing I do want to do, what I want to talk about right now. I think you raised it in a tweet before. Disney have way too much control over theaters. They have way too much control over cinemas. It is scary.
Yeah, but Disney have too much control of the fucking world in reality.
Yeah, I know, because
let's not talk about politics. But
yeah. But I'd say with Disney, the problem that Disney have is that since they're so big, they want everyone to watch their film to maximize. Like,
my
you know,
tweet wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
people were trying to disprove me. No, Disney were making films legit. Put only Captain Marvel on for the day or even weekend.
Because it was like, you know, and they did this with, I think they did this with The Last Jedi, and it got theaters so pissed they were like, we're not doing it. And then Disney said, okay then, no more Disney films for you. They went to court and the theaters won. So it was like, you know,
that's
Disney
fucking crazy.
Like Disney said, you got to put Last Jedi in pretty much 80% of all your screens, and all the theater production lines were like, we can't do that. What about the other films?
Because I have people replying to me saying, "Oh no, loads of people just want to go watch Captain Marvel." I'm like, you realise most cinemas have like 8 screens.
They have. I think the screen. Okay, so I checked today. I have in the Westfield in Stratford. They have a big view cinema, right? They have over 21 screens. I checked how many screens Captain Marvel is in. Captain Marvel across the day is in 18 out of 21 screens. Like, they had other film show, but it was in 18 out of 21 screens. Check the timings, and they're on completely different screens. Even though it's a wide release, there is cause for concern that Disney is like really pushing like we want more $1 billion films.
Yeah.
Like, after Black Panther and after Aquaman, they're like, every superhero film can get $1 billion at this point. Because remember, like,
what do you think Captain Marvel's going to hit $1 billion?
I do not think it's going to hit $1 billion. I think
did it make 25 million in its first day though? Yeah,
I know it made a lot, but that's because I think that was like mini Streisand effects, where it's like, I want to go see the film and see how good / bad it is, or how pandering the film is. It's like, I think Captain Marvel is going to do Wonder Woman numbers. I think my estimate is $853 million.
The reason, well, they don't, obviously it's not like Black Panther where you have like
the whole black community on it, and America was really onto that film. Captain Marvel doesn't really have that kind of.
Did we have that here in Britain?
No. We just watched the film.
We just watched the film.
If you look at, like, if you go into Box Office Mojo and type in Black Panther,
we're not biased when we say that.
We are not biased when we say that.
This is a white and black man podcast.
Yeah, it's white. Yeah, it's black and white monochrome. But it's like with Captain Marvel, it doesn't really have that power that Black Panther did. If you look at the Box Office Mojo chart for Black Panther, you'll notice that Black Panther is one of the highest grossing films of all time in America. Everyone in America went out to see it.
Yeah.
And I looked at pictures.
It was a big cultural movement.
And you know the problem with Captain Marvel as well. One thing I did notice, a lot of people have put out tweets with empty cinemas.
Yes, I've seen that.
That where it's like,
I've just read this on my phone though.
yeah.
Captain Marvel grossed an estimated 20 to 24 million as its first day previews.
Mm-hmm.
This puts it in the company of fellow MCU movies like Black Panther. Black Panther on its first day made 25 million and Civil War made 25 million.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War holds the MCU record for 40 million in its first fucking day.
Yikes! I think opening weekend. Opening weekend is
So that can't be right. Captain Marvel grossed an estimated 34 million in China.
I think it released in China in the same day.
Well, surely Captain Marvel's gonna bang then in terms of grossing then.
I think no, because I think what you don't understand is that opening weekend will always have fucking mental numbers, but as the weeks go on, it drops by a percentage. Like Batman, you do realize that Batman v Superman had one of the biggest opening weekends ever, and it had the biggest drops on the second weekend. It had I'm not too sure. I'll probably, don't quote me on this one, but I think it had a 58% drop. Yeah. A 58% drop from people watching it on the second weekend.
Really?
That's unheard of. That is mutant levels of you've probably fucked up if no one's watching afterwards.
Sorry, I got it wrong. So it did gross. It grossed 34 million. This isn't internationally. Oh. It grossed 34 million in China on the first day, and then it grossed 21 million in the US on the first day.
Oh, so I'd say worldwide that's like 50 something million.
So much. Apparently it did one in Thailand as well.
Yeah. No, I think Captain Marvel is like, people are going to watch this film. It's the same thing with Black Panther, and I think that's partially the reason why it did so well. People went to watch the film to see how it ties into Infinity War.
I think that it could possibly do the 150 million.
I think weekend. It's going to. I think it's going to. Everyone was saying, it's not going to do it.
I want that to happen.
I want to laugh
so bad. At all these YouTubers.
Yeah, all these YouTubers are saying, it's down to 60 million. Well, it's like...
somebody was like, it's going to do 18 million in the first weekend. And I was like, Chief, do you understand films?
Do you understand Marvel?
You have to think, like, no matter if Brie Larson came out and said the worst possible things, no one, like, other than the internet community, like the YouTube community, there's still the normal fans out there.
Normal fans
I'm not
don't
like
give a
normals
shit.
and they're normal humans. The fans that just like
fans that aren't in the internet.
Yeah, that
they're
don't
not in
listen to
internet
YouTube.
Culture.
Like people forget there's 7 billion people, and you also have to think. Do China have YouTube?
No, it's blocked.
So
everything's blocked in China.
Yeah. So like you have to think like people are very ignorant to assume that just because of a few dodgy comments by Brie Larson, which weren't even
that dodgy to begin with.
God, are we gonna say that?
Well, they weren't incredibly dodgy. They were like, I think we shouldn't dwell too much on this, but I'm gonna say that the comments that Brie Larson made
directly, it was something like there are too
many.
There was one comment which I didn't like. When she was like, she said something like, what was it? I don't want to listen.
I don't want to see. I was like, I don't want to see a thing like
a white man's opinion.
White
film
male
made for you.
Yeah, I'd say that's not what she said though. She said, I think it was at a premiere, like a press screening of the film, saying that I do not want to see a white male thing there. I'm not too sure.
I don't think we should comment on it.
I'm not going to comment too much on it. To be fair, I don't know the full facts. To be fair, but I know that it wasn't as bad.
Ultimately, it's like, come on, man. Are you really getting that upset
by somebody? It really is not that deep.
Yeah, I've said much worse than that shit.
We've both said much worse than that.
We've both said so much
We'd be cancelled so hard.
But it's like, do you really have the time of your day to like get that bothered by one? It's fine. Do these people have like the time of their day to get that bothered by these comments? Like, okay, yeah, first get upset, but like to like dedicate your whole week to review bombing a film. Like, bro, you need to leave the house.
When I saw this, Infinity War right now, as of now, has approximately 53,000 user reviews at 91%. Captain Marvel had 58,000 reviews within 1 day of the film coming out.
I think Rotten Tomatoes has a right to remove some of them.
I think Rotten Tomatoes has a right to remove it because
it's got more than Infinity
War after a year of it being released.
People are pressed, man.
And it was because Rotten Tomatoes, what they do is with the audience score is that they take the want to see score before the film comes out, then they add it to the new people coming in who've watched the film. That's the audience score. A 32% audience score with 58,000 reviews.
I'm not saying you can't get upset at what she said. But go ahead and get upset. But all I'm saying is to get so upset that you dedicate your whole week to like ruining reviews of a film. Yeah. Just give it an honest review. Just watch the
give
film.
it an honest
review. If you don't like the film, give it a 4 out of 10.
If you look at IMDb, and this is a problem with
I've looked at it.
Review sites in general.
Like, IMDb, it's basically the majority of the reviews for Captain Marvel.
10 and 1.
It's like no. It's like 7, 8, and 10. It's like it's a mix of like 40,000 votes between 7 to 10, and it's like so on average it's like a 7.5.
Yeah.
But that's only if you don't include the 42,000 ones.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, these people are complaining that these film companies are censoring them. They're censoring you for a reason, and I don't believe in censorship. But like, you're not giving them an ulterior motive to not do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing what I don't like. As in, I don't want to talk about general too much outside of stuff. But when people complain, like saying, "Oh, they're doing this to our comments. We can't comment on the film. They're censoring us."
Because you're doing spam. It's spam.
Exactly. It's just spam.
It's literally spam.
It's like when you review a film.
It's literally. I'm still saying you cannot like the film, and you don't have to like Brie Larson. But I'm saying spam is like
it's not the answer.
It's not the answer.
Film studios don't give a fuck.
Make a YouTube video where you explain your thoughts of why you do not like Brie Larson and why you do not like the Marvel universe. And fair play, dude. I'm probably still gonna like say not agree with you, but like at least you've done something productive where you've actually given a review. Like, as much as I've disagreed with so many videos made about it, at least they went to their time of day to not review bomb it
and to articulate what they actually feel about it.
Yeah, because articulating your points is like the best way to go about things, and it will show if some people have genuine reasons or if some people are genuine just dicks.
Yeah, it's like
and I think for the most part, a lot of the spam is just bots.
I wouldn't say bots. That's the one thing. That's one thing. It is. I'm not even going to lie. Never underestimate the power of weaponized autism. It's like I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie. You can get. There's not gonna be bots because people say bots. Oh, it's the Russians. Everything. No, it's loads of people.
One of my best friends lives in Russia.
It's loads of people going to review it once. It's like you look at videos getting dislikes and everything. It's people going back to do it again. It's not people setting up bots because that's when you realize that's when it becomes a bit like you're a bit sad. Like that's a bit sad if you're doing that. But in any other context, that would have been like, you know, I genuinely think it is loads of people, but loads of people are doing it to take the piss.
But the thing is, I don't think what these people realize is that by doing this, is you're going to give a Black Panther effect of where so many people get mad at this film for like a forced outrage. Yeah, they get so mad and they do all these things. Then it's going to springboard people to actually go watch it.
They'll be like,
because they're going to be like, wait, is this film really that bad?
Or it's like, let's see what's pissing all these people off.
And then they see it's not actually a bad film.
And then they
say to their friend, hey, you should go watch that film because your friend is also thinking these things, and you got to tell them, go see this film. It's like, if you want to take down a film, use articulated points. Yeah, like it's literally leading to nothing. Like I've just read out the figures: 34 million in. It's on its track to do $1 billion. Yeah, it's on its track to match Aquaman, which is over $1 billion.
Aquaman's 1.1 billion after 2 months. So it's like it could do that. And also you need to add to the fact that Captain Marvel does directly tie into Endgame, so people will be enticed to watch the film.
Yes, if you want to see Endgame, go see Captain Marvel.
I'd say it's actually. I'm not going to spoil the. Actually, no. To be fair, it's not really a bit of a spoiler.
Warning. We're spoiling the post credits.
I wouldn't say. No,
I think we should just spoil it. Okay. But give a warning. So, hello everyone. This is a warning.
This is a warning. You've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 1. We're doing it. Okay. So the mid-credit scene had straight after. It's the aftermath of the snap from Avengers Endgame. Oh, not Endgame. Avengers Infinity War. Now, if you remember, at the end of Infinity War, in that post-credit scene, Nick and Maria Hill both get snapped. But before Nick goes, he uses the pager that Captain Marvel gave to him in this film. So now the remaining Avengers are at the Avengers facility and they've got the pager. The pager stops working, and you can see like, you know, Captain America's like, you need to get it working again, and then Black Widow is like, oh, we need to find out who's on the other end. If you see anything wrong, let us know immediately. We need to know who's on the other end. She turns around and it's like a jump scare moment. Yeah. Like she turns around right behind her, Captain Marvel's there, and just goes, "Where's Fury?" That was fucking sick.
Yeah, and that it leads into a problem. Well, not a problem I had with the film, but a potential problem. Because I said before, didn't I? Yeah. I don't know how they're going to make Captain Marvel dark and gritty, but they've actually already, the Russos have already given her a consequence, which is something that Captain Marvel didn't do to me. There weren't many consequences. But the new consequence is that arguably one of her only close friend is dead. And
multiple of them could be because of the snap as well.
I reckon the Skrull family will be dead.
Yeah, I reckon her pilot friend as well.
She'll probably be dead.
She might be dead.
Okay, spoiler off now.
Spoiler off. All right, spoiler off, guys. So I'd say the mid credit scene was like, you know, it was a scene that basically set up the film. So I'd say if you want to see it's very important you watch Captain Marvel to understand what role she will play, because her powers are important, which would lead us to what Fraser also talked about before, which is her power levels. Now, I think that they're going, Captain Marvel is not that OP yet. We haven't had much we haven't had much proof of how powerful she is. She can smash through stuff, and she can fly at light speed at like multiple galaxies and stuff. The problem is though, Thor, as in, she hasn't done anything.
Thor has the power of the Bifrost in his hands.
The power of the Bifrost in a weapon that's used specifically to kill Thanos, and survived the heart of a dying star to forge the weapon as well. It's
like, if you're gonna call Captain Marvel OP,
no, Thor
is a literal god.
He is a literal god, and even before then, like Odin. Okay, so something quickly about like Thor and everything. Odin, you know, the only reason why nothing bad happened cosmically at any point was because Odin was still there.
Yeah,
Odin was the most powerful
character.
In the comics. Odin is literally the closest you can get. It's like he's the divine being.
Yeah, but he pretty much was God of
which is why they had that, like, well,
he was the protector.
Yeah, exactly. And also, just very quick spoiler, but you should have watched the film by now. That's why they kind of had to kill him off in Ragnarok.
Yes.
There was no way. Imagine if Infinity War happened with Odin still there.
Odin would fuck him up.
Thanos would be fucking.
I'd even argue that Hela maybe fuck. Well,
no.
To be fair, the comics are based. Thanos in the comics Thanos in the comics has different intentions to Thanos in the films.
Yeah,
Thanos in the comics is his motives are so much weaker compared to the films.
He wants to fuck Death.
He legit just wants to hook up with Death.
Yeah, Lady Death. Yeah.
So the way he appeals to Lady Death, which
like
could
killing
probably
everyone.
be called Hela, is he kills everyone.
Everyone thought that Hela was going to be Lady Death.
Could she not be Lady Death?
She's not Lady. She's the goddess of death, but she's not in that context where Thanos is like, oh, like.
Do you reckon we're gonna see her?
I don't think we're doing. I think there's something, because this Endgame. One thing the Russos did say, and I know it's like, oh, don't take everything the director says as gospel, but they said Endgame is not based on any comic.
Yeah,
Endgame is not. You cannot read a comic
but
and see.
Was Infinity War.
Infinity War had the Infinity Gauntlet storyline mixed. Yeah, but it was kind of what they've said with Endgame is that no comics have been made. Like comics have been made that they're taking it from.
I trust the Russos more.
That is, I honestly, that scares me a tiny bit, because it's like with Infinity Gauntlet, it's like they had some iconic comic strips that they did copy and that kind of stuff. And
I'm sure they'll sprinkle in some comic magic here and there.
So,
but I trust the Russos.
I trust the Russos.
Have the Russos had a bad Marvel film?
No.
Exactly.
They started.
Have the Russos had a bad film?
They haven't had like bad films. They've only had like, you know, thing. I think
they are the Christopher Nolan of the comic film.
Christopher Nolan.
Mind you, Christopher Nolan made the best comic book film.
Yeah, he made arguably, I say, the best comic book film ever made as well. And I even say that because it's like, you know, Dark Knight.
That has the best rewatch value.
Dark Knight has the best rewatch.
It's such good rewatch value.
Yeah, it's damn.
I've watched that film so many times, and it still is insanely good.
And speaking of DC, which is owned by Warner Bros, and Warner Bros also owns HBO, Game of Thrones.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Warner Bros own HBO.
Okay, right, guys, this is going to get a bit confusing. So, so DC's owned by Warner Bros. Warner Bros is owned by by Time Warner. Time Warner is now called Warner Media, and Warner Media own HBO, Warner Bros and everything. So,
how the fuck do you know that? Off by heart. That was some insane shit. That was insane.
Yeah.
That was like reading a fucking file, man. Like,
yeah,
that's insane.
I'm
actually kind of like amazed by that. That was insane how you remember all that. I can't remember like literally what I ate for breakfast.
Yeah, maybe. It's like I think because you can tell on the sides of Game of Thrones' DVD covers, it has Warner Bros on the side, so it's like so it's like a thing.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you'll notice it. I noticed the small things, but
Warner Bros own Hulk. Or anything.
No, Universal owns Hulk. Universal, Warner Bros they don't fuck with Marvel. They own DC, so it's like they don't want to do anything about that.
But let's fuck off superhero films. Captain Marvel 7.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10 for 5.
And we're excited for Endgame, the general stuff. But now let's talk about what everyone seems to be talking about recently: the Game of Thrones
season 8. The trailer dropped finally.
I remember everyone screaming for the trailer. It was like, "Where's the trailer? HBO!"
To be fair, they dropped the trailer the same month where they dropped the last
trailer.
But the problem is we've waited so long for this season.
Oh,
6 episodes.
It's only six very long episodes, mind you. But
so
like,
it's what, 2 years has it been since?
2 years. 2 years since it's been last season.
Oh my god!
Imagine waiting that long. That's like
that. I do think it is. I know everyone keeps saying it, but I think it is legit. They've just made 6 movies in 2 years.
No, it's like I think that's an achievement in and of itself, but it's like the agony. Just quickly back to Marvel for one point. It was like the agony waiting between Infinity War and now.
Oh,
do you know?
Been so painful.
Now we've seen Captain Marvel. Have to wait. The
1
wait
month
is excruciating. I remember waiting for Infinity War was hype and everything, but you want to know what happens next.
See, the great thing about Infinity War for me was that I was not a fan of comic book films. I told you, obviously, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna go watch this film, and I went and watched it on the day it came out, not midnight release, but the day it came out, and I was like, well, fuck, I better go watch every other Marvel film.
And then that's how you got converted. Yeah.
And then I started reading all the comics as well. But going back to Game of Thrones. Just the wait. The
wait for Game. I think Game of Thrones is one of those shows where it's like everyone's united. And when I remember, if you look at the on the Wikipedia page, there's a graph that shows you the general viewing ratio, like the ratings. It goes up and up and up, and
even people had problems with last season. It still went up.
Yeah, it's like everyone's going to watch this season. I don't think this is going to be unprecedented. This is going
to be the biggest thing in TV history.
Like everyone thought the MASH finale. I remember. I think this is the modern day MASH finale. Because I don't know whether you've seen or you've read about it, or like, because I'm not old enough to see it, but I remember talking about it. I think my parents might have mentioned it once before, when the MASH finale dropped, like MASA, when the MASH finale dropped, that MASH right now, that's still the most watched thing ever.
What about the finale of Lost?
Lost finale didn't get much.
Really?
No, it was MASH finale was where it was at.
So what about the finale?
100. It was, I think, over 100 million people watched the MASH finale. MASH was the bit. This Game of Thrones thing. The Game of Thrones finale will be the modern day MASH.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say, what about the finale to The Walking Dead? But there's 20 more seasons of that.
Oh my god, Walking Dead. I think
we should do a whole dedicated episode.
I'm going to do it. I think I'm probably going to.
Oh no, we should literally watch every episode of the new series whenever it comes out, and we just like rip into it.
I have very strong feelings about it.
I hate that show.
AMC fucked over Frank Darabont, and I can't forgive them for that one.
I have not watched it since the ending of the first season Negan was in. Yeah. Negan, because I stopped watching it, and Negan was like, "Hold the fucking phone! They've actually got a good character."
Villain. Yeah, they got a good character.
And then it just went a bit dead.
Yeah, it just went a bit dead.
And don't get me wrong, I used to be a massive Walking Dead fan.
I'd say
season 5 of Game of Thrones was also when I was peak interest of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that may have been season 6 of Walking Dead.
6, yeah.
Season 5 maybe. Walking Dead came out in 2010, so it must have been season 5.
Yeah. I think,
and that
honestly,
is that just after the
season 5 was when that Leo, the guy that Tyler James Williams played, like Leo, he had the thing where it was like, that's the first episode. The
governor.
Yeah. Yes. So
was the governor season? I can't even remember.
I can't even remember either, but I remember Tyler James Williams mainly because I remember watching him in a Disney Channel film. Jesus. Like that. Oh no, wait, hear me out on this one. So I watched him in a Disney Channel original film that year, and I was like, this guy's cool. I remember him in Everybody Hates Chris and everything. Then I saw him in Walking Dead. Then I saw the way he dies in Walking Dead. Well, it's season 5, by the way, so it's like it happened ages ago. You should have watched it by now. If you haven't watched it, then it's on you. But the way he died then, it was literally, when you watch something and you see an actor there and you like the actor a lot, so when he dies in a film, you're just like, oh fuck. You think to yourself, fuck.
Me with every Game of Thrones actor.
Honestly, when I remember watching that episode of Walking Dead when he gets snaked out by one person, which leaves him to die, and leaving Glenn to watch him, and I was watching that, I was like, whoa. Yeah. Literally, I was afterward. I was literally just pondered to myself. I was like, yeah, that just happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
But going back to Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
So what did you think of the trailer?
I like the trailer.
I think that's the best trailer they've done.
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. TV trailers are very hard to get right, and I think
HBO are the only ones that get them right.
Yeah, I think HBO and Netflix in some cases.
Oh yeah.
Netflix have done. I think
trailers to not Fighting Music. My God, that show's awful.
Yeah.
Fucking what's it called? Stranger Things
trailer
awesome.
and arguably Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I think that those trailers are good, but and I think Netflix are known for making notoriously shit trailers. But I think some of their series have good trailers.
Was the Bird Box trailer good?
It spoiled the film pretty much. I think
it spoiled the film.
And by that I mean like but the Bird Box trailer was like, it's like something you shouldn't watch the trailer if you want to enjoy the film. It does give away a lot.
I hate that film.
Yeah,
I've just realised I've said I've hated like 5 different things in a row. I need to say something.
Yeah, you need to say. You said you like Game of Thrones.
And I'm trying to think. I was going to say Harry Potter, but that's like the most generic thing ever.
No, okay.
I like Dunkirk.
Class.
Yeah,
Class. Good taste.
I had to think of a good film.
Dunkirk is. I rewatched Dunkirk and I put to immerse myself properly. I went onto Netflix. Was Dunkirk on Netflix when I watched it? It might have been somewhere, but I remember I put it on my phone. I took my headphones. I wore my headphones. I cranked the volume up to 100, and then I watched it.
Scary.
The gunshots at the beginning of the film.
Did they record sounds for it then?
Yeah, it was diegetic. And also the sound design. It was
everything.
Done. I think they won the Oscar for sound design, and rightfully so. They won the. So I'm pretty sure Dunkirk won like best sound design because my God, that sound design was next level.
How the fuck did we just go from Game of Thrones to a World War II film?
Because Dunkirk is made by Warner Bros, which also is HBO.
Yes.
I am the master at segueing things. Because if you challenge, I think what me and Fraser should do one day is do like a Wikipedia game where it's like you have to find. We both start on the same Wikipedia page, and you have to go to like a Wikipedia page with only clicking links.
Yeah,
that would be really funny because I'd find the stupidest ways of doing it in like 2 clicks.
Yeah,
but
back to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I thought the trailer was interesting, and I think a lot of it is what's the phrase when they show things which isn't actually going to happen?
Bait and switch.
No. There's a phrase of where they're misdoing something.
Isn't it called misdirection or
misdirection? Yes.
Yeah, misdirection.
They misdirect. I think it's one of those things where they misdirect quite a lot.
Yeah, I know. I think I remember how secretive they were and how secretive other film companies are, especially Marvel. No one has the actual script.
I have a theory. About the next season.
Right,
so obviously Cersei. If you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, I'm not going to explain to you because I expect you to watch Game of Thrones. But Cersei, obviously, she's just paid the Golden Company, and the Golden Company, they are kind of like the Lannisters in a way because they kind of always pay their debts. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with the Golden Company is that they've never let anyone down after they've been paid. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the Golden Company, as far as I know, were created by the Blackfires, and now the Blackfires are descendants of the Targaryens.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they revolted or had a war, something like that. I have not read Game of Thrones literature for a long time. Mm-hmm. So my theory is that the Blackfires there will be a Blackfire in the Golden Company that will be leading them, and I think that they will discover that there are 2 Targaryens that they're fighting against, and they will revolt against Cersei, and it will be like a big plot twist because it'll be the first time ever the Golden Company have been like, hey, we're going against this big famous word we have, and now Cersei gets fucked, and then the Golden Company take on because I think they'll lose. Wait, I just thought, is there going to be 2 Battle of Winterfells?
There might be,
because the White Walkers and Cersei are on her way.
Holy shit!
Wait, or are the Golden Company just going to King's Landing for protection?
I think they might be going to King's Landing for protection. They did say.
Yeah, I think she literally said, "I'll let you fight your war."
Yeah. Also, like HBO did say that I think one of the episodes, I'm not sure, they didn't say it was the last one, but one of the episodes, the entire episode will be a 45-minute battle.
But yeah, that's episode 3.
That's episode 3?
Yeah, Battle of Winterfell.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Honestly, though, I'd say I hope that Game of Thrones maintain. I think one thing I liked about the earlier seasons was just unpredictability. In the newer ones, they kind of gone to the whole TV trope. So it was like, let's keep, since it's ahead of the books, they're like, this character thinks they're gonna die. Well, the fans won't like that, so let's actually kill them off or something.
I think that we'll be surprised. I don't think Dan and Dave are idiots, the writers. I honestly refuse to believe that Littlefinger's dead.
That's denial.
I don't think he's dead.
You're in that denial
I
phase.
think he's going to turn out to be one of the faceless men.
Yeah. Ooh. That's a good point.
I think he's way too smart and way too mischievous to be killed off like that.
Yeah.
To be outsmarted by... It would make so much sense if he outsmarted all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's 6 episodes and I don't...
6 1 hour 30-minute episodes.
Are they confirmed 1 hour 30?
Yeah, they confirmed 90-minute each way. That's a double Sherlock season.
That's normal. That's longer than a normal Game of Thrones season, is it not?
Yeah, a normal Game of Thrones season is 12 episodes of 1 hour.
10 episodes.
10 episodes of an hour. That's 10 hours, and this one's like
6 hours of 90.
Yeah, whoa.
6 episodes of 90. Even.
6 episodes of 90. That's like that's like what's it called? 540 minutes. It's the same length.
Is it?
Same length. Just longer episodes.
But the episodes have more budget.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They have much more budget. I think this is their biggest budget.
We won't get any filler episodes.
We can't. I just can't.
Imagine if they did like 2 filler episodes.
Imagine if they did no.
They won't do that.
One thing idiots. I cannot wait for is the fallout from the finale.
God, I will cry so much.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I genuinely think with we are spoiled in April.
Yeah, we are. But the problem is, mate. To be fair, Far From Home's going. But the problem is, after Game of Thrones ends, I don't know what I'm going to watch on TV. What TV shows are there?
What? No, genuinely. Unless something...
Like TV, not Netflix.
I was about to say Netflix.
What TV shows are there remaining? I'm trying to think.
The only thing I remember that HBO is still doing is Westworld, but Westworld kind of was lacking in the later season.
I swear Westworld's becoming their new thing, isn't it?
It's only they're trying to push it as a new flagship, but the second season didn't do as well.
I guess we're getting the prequels to Game of Thrones.
We're getting the prequels. The problem is that after Game of Thrones...
I don't think we're ever going to see anything like it again.
We're not going to see anything like it. We haven't seen anything like it during Game of Thrones' run.
Do you ever reckon they're going to remake it? Yeah, like 40 years.
No, HBO would never do that.
I
think George R. R. Martin would never let them do that anyway.
Yeah, that's to be right.
It's like one thing that I think this is gonna be like Breaking Bad finale. Like the Breaking Bad finale was an event, and that was
if big. So carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying because I think with Breaking Bad, it was the perfect ending to the show. Yeah. So it was like, if we get that kind of ending, but with Game of Thrones, holy hell. I just, the thing is, we're spoiled in April. We've got Game of Thrones, Endgame, for anime fans and stuff, you got One Punch Man season 2.
Really?
Yeah, season 2's April. They released a poster and some of the clips. The problem is I'm worried about that one because I've seen the animation and it's like,
really?
I've read the manga up until current. They
aren't doing an Attack on Titan season 2 on us, are they?
The manga is really fucking good, although it gets to the tournament arc and the tournament arc is kind of long. But the manga's really good. The manga's like really good. It's amazing. Yeah. The problem is I don't know how well they're gonna adapt that to the anime because it's a completely different studio and it's a different director.
Oh, I've only ever read one manga.
Well, which one?
That's every single manga for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh well, let's see. Wow.
No, it extends the story massively. You've watched it, right?
Yeah, I've watched it.
They go on to talk about you discover what happened to Zuko's mum and stuff like that. Yeah. There's a whole manga dedicated to it. Nice. It's a 3-part series. I think it's called The Truth. I read it ages ago.
Is it canon? It's canon, right? Canon. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure because I was like, sometimes I remember reading this Samurai Jack one
because they hint at the manga in in The Legend of Korra because basically one of Tenzin's kids goes up to, I think it's Jinora, goes up to Korra not Korra, goes up to Katara,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Can you tell us the story of Zuko's mum?" And then she goes, "Well, it's a fascinating story." And then the little baby like jumps on her.
Yeah, but the tragedy of Darth Plagueis device is like the
Yeah.
story I'd like to tell you.
It's crazy that I know all the names to the characters of that show.
Yeah, oh no, with me, I know that with me, it's like, it's stupid the amount of, how long have we been doing this for? Wow. Well, I mean, it's stupid, like, you know, the amount of stuff that I've, like, you know, gathered over just watching films in general. Like, what I've done is, it's one of the things that I do, I like collecting screenplays. I read the screenplay to all 3 Dark Knight films, like the Dark Knight trilogy. It's available at Foyles at Westfield. I'm not shilling for Foyles. I'm not shilling.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I read the script. There's a lot of stuff they cut out, and then there's a lot of stupid, like, I think a lot of people, Dark Knight is a quality film. It's a class film. The problem is, though, I read the script and then I watched the film again. I was like, there was some stupid stuff in the film.
Yeah.
Like, the first court scene with Two-Face with Harvey Dent, I liked how it solidified this character, but I
Wait,
felt
are you
that
criticizing The Dark Knight? How
yes.
dare you?
Yeah. I think no. That's
You're
just
the first man on YouTube to ever criticize The Dark Knight.
Really, I think I'm pretty sure. Well, apart from Cinema Sins, fuck Cinema Sins. It's like with.
I found a good channel called Cinema Sins.
Yeah.
It's like some random dude, and I swear he's just sat in his uni bedroom.
He is sat.
Have you watched him?
I've watched him. It sounds like he basically. I'm just gonna test his sound. He's like this. So this is a mistake in the film, and this is why Cinema Sins is bad.
He's great. He's great. I love his channel because he doesn't just do that though. Like he does actual break.
Yeah, I think Cinema Wins is much better as well because Cinema Wins also does a proper review and actually dissects the film other than
Cinema Sins does that now. I'm going to his channel now. JXC Simpsons. Is that who you're thinking about?
Pardon?
Is this who you're thinking about? JXC Simpsons. Him.
Yeah.
You know he does do big breakdowns. Like,
I know, but I'm talking about like Cinema Wins. Cinema Wins does like
Wins.
The problem with, okay, so this is a very, very like off tangent. I don't know whether we're gonna keep this or not, but Cinema Sins is like the problem that I have with Cinema Sins is that it started so well. I remember Cinema Sins. When I first started watching, and in about 2013, 2014, they did 4-minute videos with the mistakes of each of the film. That was the whole concept of it. It was like, this happened. It wasn't they had like the odd meme or two, but it was genuine dissections of the film. Like, for example, in World War Z, there was like a scene where a car came out of nowhere, and the guy and Jeremy was like, this car came out of nowhere, look at this scene, there's no car there, yet it runs the guy over. Nowadays it's just like the guy's just putting, I know it's satire, but the guy's literally just, you know, he's not really outlining mistakes in a film. All he's saying is like, this doesn't make sense. And like the guy, I think, I wouldn't say anger, it didn't make me angry, but one thing that really I couldn't watch was the Guardians of the Galaxy like Sins video.
I've just never watched.
Because to be fair, I did used to watch his videos because it was like, it was comfy, you know, just comfy, just sit down, just watch like what's wrong with the film. I'm pretty sure people use Cinema Sins as an excuse to not watch the film. Like, if they didn't watch the film in cinemas, they just watch Cinema Sins' video. But
I'm really not.
It's like with Guardians of the Galaxy, there was like continuity errors that Jeremy pointed out, but then they explained it literally 5 minutes later in the film. That's the problem with Cinema Sins. It's like it's now not. It's just too long. Yeah. It's like it's now 20-minute videos where all the stuff could be explained away really easily.
I mean, I think everyone knows the Cinema Sins aren't exactly amazing.
Yeah, it's not amazing.
They're good. I mean, they're good.
I know their second. Admittedly, second channel, they're really good. That as in Jeremy's good. He's like, he generally goes out to watch films and gives honest thoughts about it. Cinema Sins is like a comedy channel. I treat it like a comedy channel now because you can't take anything they say seriously. I don't think you're meant to at this point.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you want? Any pressing?
We didn't really talk much about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'd say we can save Game of Thrones for
much. We can. Yeah, we'll save for another.
I think Game of Thrones is a lot. Game of Thrones is a lot to like to talk about. I think we need to do a whole episode on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we will. We don't have a schedule.
Yeah, we have no schedule.
It's going to be spontaneous.
I think it's going to be spontaneous, but we will try to do one main one a week. Yeah, I think 100%. That's what we want to try. Because the problem is with me is recording times. Sometimes I have to go. I myself still do uni and YouTube at the same time, so I don't have the time to get there and go like we need to go and record. This is like Charles said,
3 miles apart.
Yeah,
we live in London, so it's like getting over the place.
Yeah, I think it's not really because I can easily go like I can come over here and just like do some recordings and stuff. The only problem is timing and everything. But we will try, and I mean it. We will try and get one out a week, like once a week. We're not sure about the dates of release. This one, I don't know whether this will probably come out today or tomorrow. As well, by today I mean like since it's like morning.
Saturday.
Yeah, I'd say Saturday. So I'd say. But it's like we'll think of a schedule and stuff, and we'll keep uploading and stuff. In terms of future stuff, in terms of reviews, we've got Avengers Endgame to look forward to. You've got April is just a spoiled month. So
I don't even know how you're editing this.
Have
you got plans?
I've got plans on our editing. Yeah, we're probably not gonna do. We're not gonna do like I think it is audio only. I've already done everything way before we started.
What on YouTube right now? What are the audience going to be seeing?
They're gonna see the bar like a black. I think it's gonna be a bar with the logo and it's gonna move. It's like think of the Sardonicast. So if you look at the Sardonicast with I Hate Everything, YMS, and Ralph the Movie Maker, it's literally like.
Are we not gonna put over any like visuals or anything?
I think
like videos or something.
I think for the first few ones, I don't think it'll be worth doing like visuals at the moment. We will put references in the description for what we've talked about because I put notes about what we're talking about today. But
I've got like a nice little animation.
Yeah. But I've got a nice little animation. It's going to be looping, and you're probably seeing it now by the time you're watching this.
You'll probably see more visuals in like the short 10-minute.
Yeah, in the short 10 minutes one, I can dedicate more time
actual
to
reviews.
But yeah, it's actual reviews of the film. And
this
that kind
is
of
just
stuff.
where we talk shit for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So.
But when me and Faf see an important film, we'll review
it.
We
will review it, and we will put in a dedicated section.
And sometimes we may just review a random shit film. What random shit films are coming out soon?
Random shit films.
Actually, comment section, give us a random shit film that you want us to review, and we will review it.
Whether it be on Netflix or coming out soon or Amazon Prime.
Give us one.
I've got a couple, but I am saving them.
We'll get the comment sections.
Yeah, I know. I got a couple, but I'm saving them for main channel videos. So it's like
that's if the comment section even gets to it.
Yeah, that's if the comment section even gets to this point in the video or in the audio on SoundCloud and everything. In terms of platforms that we're going to be releasing it, I'm not sure. I'll try and sort out Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and of course YouTube. And I think SoundCloud and YouTube will probably like have it like mainly, and then we'll try and get it on Spotify. So I think should we start wrapping up
here? So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Coffee Club podcast. I know it was a bit all over the place.
We're probably going to try and iron it out. It's the first trial run. We want to talk about as much stuff as possible to try and get you in the groove.
And don't worry, it's not going to be a 3-episode thing. We live literally next to each other almost, so if you want to go follow my socials, iNabba TV, and my YouTube at iNabba, go do so. And also Faf's socials at
Thaf9 on Twitter. It's just /Thaf9 on YouTube. And if you want to go on Discord, it's at T9. I got the 9999 tag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got the 99 tag.
That's pretty cool. We also do have a Discord. The links will be in the description.
Yeah, everything will be in the description. And we have a Patreon if you want some early episodes and everything. So, and also if you want some sneak previews about stuff that we're doing personally. So
yeah. All that's in the description, and you can literally just add our Twitter. Actually, follow the Coffee Club Twitter page.
We completely forgot about the Coffee Club Twitter. It's _Coffee Club on Twitter. We'll probably link that in the description as well. In fact, we will. It'll be on the. It'll probably be on the screen right about now. So during the entire stream, but right about now you should see it. Follow us on Twitter. We got the Coffee Club Twitter. We'll try and tweet something there. We will see all the tweets. So
but thank you for watching, people. Thank you for listening, people. I appreciate it very much. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.